The vodka burned less with each shot, which should have been my warning sign. But warnings require the ability to think clearly, and I'd surrendered that somewhere between shot number 3 and Cassie's declaration that faithful girlfriends were basically extinct. "When's the last time any of you actually had fun?" Cassie asked, sprawled across the hotel suite's king bed like she owned it. Which she did, technically. The Dallas Four Seasons penthouse for her bachelorette party, courtesy of her investment banker fiancé. "I have fun," I protested, though my voice sounded defensive even to me. "Ryan and I went to that escape room last month." The laughter that erupted made my cheeks burn. 5 women, my supposed best friends, looking at me like I'd just admitted to collecting stamps. "An escape room?" Jade squealed. "Jesus, Stephanie, you're 28, not 60. "Some of us are in committed relationships," I said, clutching my phone where Ryan's goodnight text still glowed. "Some of us don't need to grind on strangers to feel validated." "Right," Mia said, refilling my shot glass without asking. "Because you're so fulfilled sitting at home every Saturday watching Ryan play video games. He doesn't..." But he did. Every Saturday. Call of Duty with his friends while I read or scrolled through Instagram, watching everyone else's highlight reels. "We're happy." "Are you?" Cassie sat up, her perfectly blown-out hair catching the suite's ambient lighting. "When's the last time you felt that rush? That thrill of someone new wanting you? I don't need that. I have Ryan." "Ryan, who hasn't taken you on a real date in 6 months? Ryan, who forgot your anniversary? That Ryan..." He'd apologized for the anniversary thing. Work had been crazy, the promotion consuming his attention. I'd understood. I always understood. "We're going out tonight," Nicole announced, already scrolling through her phone. "And I mean really out. Not some wine bar where you nurse one glass and talk about your feelings. Dancing, drinks, actual fun." "I didn't bring anything to wear for, "I did." Cassie was already at her suitcase, pulling out dresses that looked more like suggestions than clothing. "We're the same size." No excuses. This is how it started. Not with intention or malice, but with peer pressure disguised as friendship. 5 women convincing one that her contentment was complacency, her stability was stagnation, her loyalty was stupidity. 2 hours later, I barely recognized myself in the mirror. The red dress clung to curves I usually hid under cardigans and sensible work clothes. My hair, usually in a practical ponytail, fell in waves Jade had coaxed with her curling iron. The makeup Mia applied made my eyes look dangerous. "Now that's a woman who gets noticed," Cassie approved. "Ryan wouldn't even recognize me." "That's the point, babe. Tonight you're not Ryan's girlfriend, you're just Stephanie. Just Stephanie," as if I knew who that was anymore. The club throbbed with bass that replaced my heartbeat. Bodies pressed together in the darkness, anonymity provided by strobe lights and smoke machines. I'd texted Ryan that I was going to bed early, too tired from the day's festivities. The lie sat in my stomach like lead. "Shots!" Nicole yelled over the music, appearing with a tray of something fluorescent. I should slow down. "It's Cassie's last weekend of freedom." Don't be a buzzkill. The worst thing you could be in their eyes. Worse than boring, worse than faithful, worse than happy with your high school sweetheart who, yes, played too many video games, but also made you laugh and knew how you took your coffee and still held your hand in public after 6 years together. I took the shot. That's when I saw him. Tall, dark hair, the kind of jawline that belonged in cologne ads. He was watching me from across the VIP section, interest clear in his eyes. "Oh my God," Jade breathed in my ear. "He's gorgeous. And he's totally checking you out." "I have a boyfriend. And I have a mortgage. Doesn't mean I can't window shop." But he wasn't staying in the window. He was walking over, confidence in every step. Up close, he was even more attractive. The kind of man who knew it, who'd probably never been turned down in his life. "I'm Alex," he said, voice smooth as the whiskey in his hand. "Can I buy you a drink?" "She'd love one," Cassie answered for me, pushing me slightly forward. I dash. "One drink," Mia whispered. "Just be social." It's not a marriage proposal. So I let him buy me a drink. Vodka tonic that went down too easy while he asked about my life, seemed genuinely interested in my answers. He was in private equity, traveled constantly, had a boat he barely used. Everything Ryan wasn't. Sophisticated where Ryan was simple, polished where Ryan was comfortable. "Dance with me," Alex said, extending his hand. "I shouldn't—" "Come on, Steph," Nicole pressed. "It's just dancing. When's the last time a guy who looked like that asked you to dance?" Never. The answer was never. Ryan had asked me to dance at his cousin's wedding 3 years ago, stepping on my feet and apologizing through his laughter. It had been perfect in its imperfection. This was different. Alex knew how to move, how to lead, how to make a woman feel like she was the only person in the room. His hands stayed respectfully at my waist, but the heat of them burned through the thin dress. "You're beautiful," he said, lips close to my ear to be heard over the music. "I have a boyfriend." The words came out automatically, my last defense. "I don't see him here." "He trusts me." Lucky him. One song became 2, became 3. My friends cheered from their table, taking videos I'd later beg them to delete. The alcohol made everything liquid, made Alex's attention feel like validation I didn't know I'd been craving. "I need air," I said finally, guilt competing with vodka for dominance. "The balcony's quieter," Alex offered. I should have gone back to the table, should have called an Uber, should have done anything except follow him to the club's private balcony where the Dallas skyline glittered like promises I had no business contemplating. "You're not like the usual girls here," Alex said, leaning against the railing. "What are the usual girls like?" "Available." "I told you." "You have a boyfriend." "You've mentioned it 5 times, yet here you are." Here I was, on a balcony with a stranger while Ryan slept in our apartment in Austin, trusting me, believing the lie that I was too tired to do anything but sleep. "I should go." "Probably," Alex agreed, but he moved closer anyway. "But you don't want to. You don't know what I want. I know you haven't looked at your phone once since we started dancing. I know your friends are inside taking bets on whether you'll kiss me. I know you're trying to convince yourself this isn't what you want, but your body language says otherwise. You're very confident, and you're very beautiful when you're conflicted. Maybe it was the vodka. Maybe it was Cassie's words echoing in my head about feeling desired. Maybe it was 6 months of Saturday night video games and forgotten anniversaries. Or maybe I was just weaker than I'd ever imagined. When Alex kissed me, I didn't pull away. It lasted maybe 10 seconds. 10 seconds of betraying 6 years. 10 seconds of proving my friends right about excitement and wrong about everything else. 10 seconds that tasted like whiskey and regret. "I can't," I gasped, pushing him away. "I'm sorry, I can't." "Your choice," he said, pulling out his phone. "But if you change your mind—" He handed me his business card. Embossed. Of course it was. I fled back inside, grabbed my purse, ignored my friend's questions and cat calls. The Uber ride back to the hotel blurred past while I stared at my reflection in the window, wondering who that woman was. Back in the suite, I locked myself in the bathroom and scrubbed at my lips until they were raw. As if I could erase it. As if Ryan wouldn't somehow know the second he saw me. "Steph!" Cassie knocked. "You okay?" "Fine. Don't be mad. We just wanted you to have fun." Fun. That's what they called destroying the foundation of my relationship. Fun. "Did you at least get his number?" Jade called out. I looked at the business card still clutched in my hand. Alexander Morrison, managing director, a Dallas number, an email that probably went to an assistant, evidence of my weakness. "Yeah," I lied, "I got it." The squealing celebration outside the door made me sick. Or maybe that was the vodka, or the knowledge that I'd become exactly what I'd always judged others for being, a cheater. My phone buzzed. Ryan, because of course. Even at 2 a.m. he was checking in. "Hope you're having fun with the girls." "Love you." I stared at those 3 words until they blurred. Love you. Present tense. He still loved me, not knowing that 10 minutes ago I'd had another man's tongue in my mouth. "Love you too," I typed back, then immediately deleted it. Retyped it. Deleted again. How could I say it now? How could I pretend those words meant the same thing they'd meant this morning? "Night," I finally sent. Coward's response. I stayed in that bathroom until my friends' voices faded, until I heard bedroom doors closing, until I was alone with what I'd done. Then I crept to my bed and lay there, fully dressed in my sin, watching the ceiling and replaying those 10 seconds. Alex's cologne lingered on the dress. I should have burned it. The next morning came with a hangover that felt like punishment but wasn't nearly enough. My friends nursed their own pain with room service mimosas and gossip. "So?" Cassie prodded. "Tell us everything." "Nothing to tell." "Bullshit. You disappeared with him for 20 minutes. We talked. That's all." "Just talked?" Mia looked disappointed. "Seriously?" "I have a boyfriend," I said for what felt like the 100th time. "A boyfriend who's probably still asleep at noon on a Saturday," Nicole pointed out. She was right. Ryan would sleep until at least 1, then shuffle to the kitchen in his boxers, make coffee, and settle in for his gaming session. Predictable. Safe. Everything Alex wasn't. "You should text him," Jade suggested. Not Ryan. "I'm not texting him." "Why not?" "You're allowed to have friends." "Male friends who look like that aren't friends," I said. "They're complications." "Or opportunities," Cassie countered. "Look, I love Trevor. I'm marrying Trevor, but if I met him tomorrow instead of 5 years ago, I'd probably swipe left. Too safe, too predictable. Sometimes you need to test the waters to appreciate what you have." "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." "Is it? You kissed another guy." "How did you—" "Please, we saw you on the balcony, and now you're sitting here clearly feeling guilty, which means you still care about Ryan. Sometimes a little threat to the relationship is exactly what it needs." I wanted to throw something at her, wanted to scream that she didn't understand, that I'd broken something that couldn't be fixed with her twisted logic. But part of me, the weak part that had kissed Alex, wanted to believe her. The drive back to Austin felt like approaching an execution. Every mile brought me closer to Ryan, to our apartment, to the life I'd carelessly cracked with one moment of stupid. He was exactly where Nicole had predicted. On the couch, headset on, controller in hand. But he paused the game when I walked in, smiled that easy smile that had won me over junior year of college. "Hey, baby." "How was the bachelorette?" "Good," I managed. "Fun." "You look tired." "Too much partying?" "Something like that." He pulled me onto his lap, kissed my forehead. "Missed you." 3 words that broke something inside me. He'd missed me while I'd been kissing strangers. He'd trusted me while I'd been betraying him. He'd loved me while I'd been proving I didn't deserve it. "Missed you too," I whispered into his chest, hating myself for meaning it. The guilt ate at me for 3 days. Every time Ryan touched me, every casual "love you," every normal moment felt like a lie. Because it was. We were living in a reality where I was faithful, but that reality had ended at 1:47 a.m. on a Dallas balcony. On Wednesday, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Can't stop thinking about you." Alex. Somehow he'd gotten my number. Probably from Cassie or one of the others, traitors that they were. I should have blocked him immediately, should have deleted the message and pretended it never existed. Instead, I stared at it through my entire lunch break. "Everything okay?" my coworker asked. "You've been glaring at your phone for 20 minutes. Fine, I lied, the word becoming my default response to everything. That night, while Ryan played his games, I typed and deleted a dozen responses. Each one felt like another betrayal, but the silence felt worse. Like unfinished business. Like an itch I couldn't scratch. Just so we're clear, I have a boyfriend, I finally sent. Saturday was a mistake. Noted, he replied instantly. Dinner Friday? Did you not read what I just wrote? I did. You have a boyfriend and Saturday was a mistake. I'm suggesting dinner, not marriage. I can't have dinner with you. Can't or won't. Both, neither. The distinction felt important and impossible. Ryan wouldn't like it, I typed, so don't tell him. Unless you tell him everything? The implied question hung there. Had I confessed? Of course not. How could I? Hey babe, funny story. I let some guy stick his tongue down my throat because my friends peer pressured me into feeling like our relationship was boring. That's what I thought, Alex sent when I didn't respond. Look, I'm not trying to be a homewrecker. Just dinner. Public place. Harmless. Harmless. Like dancing had been harmless. Like one drink had been harmless. I knew better now. Or I should have. I can't, I sent. The offer stands if you change your mind. I deleted the conversation. Blocked his number. Tried to pretend the whole thing never happened. But my friends wouldn't let it die. Group texts full of inside jokes about Stephanie's Dallas man and suggestions that I was wasting my youth on Ryan. They meant it lovingly, I think. The way friends do when they want you to be as miserable in your choices as they are in theirs. 2 weeks passed. The guilt faded from sharp to dull, a constant ache but manageable. Ryan and I fell back into our routine. Saturday video games, Sunday errands, predictable dinners and comfortable silences. I almost convinced myself the kiss had been a dream, a vodka-induced hallucination. Then Cassie announced girls' night. Local this time, just dinner and drinks in Austin. Wear something cute, she texted. You never know who we might run into. I should have known, should have recognized the setup, but I went anyway, desperate to feel normal with my friends again, to prove I could be fun without destroying my life. The restaurant was upscale, the kind of place Ryan and I never went because he'd rather spend the money on computer parts. I wore jeans and a nice top, conservative compared to Dallas, but still earning approving nods from the group. See? Mia said. You can look hot without betraying anyone. They didn't know about the kiss. I'd never told them, couldn't bear their excitement or validation. They thought I'd just danced with Alex, flirted innocently, gotten his number like a trophy. We were halfway through appetizers when he walked in. Alex, in Austin, in this specific restaurant on this specific night. The coincidence was too much to be anything but planned. Oh my God, Cassie gasped with fake surprise. Is that... You didn't, I hissed. I may have mentioned where we'd be, she admitted, not looking remotely sorry. But honestly, what are the odds he'd actually show? The odds were apparently excellent because he was walking toward our table, designer suit and confident smile intact. My stomach dropped somewhere near my shoes. Ladies, he greeted smoothly. What a pleasant surprise. Alex, Jade squealed. What are you doing in Austin? Business, he said, but his eyes were on me. Mind if I join you? I hate eating alone. Of course not, Nicole said, already scooting to make room. Stephanie was just telling us about her boring week. I hadn't said a word about my week. But now Alex was sitting directly across from me, ordering wine like he belonged there, charming my friends like this was normal. So, he said, cutting his steak with precision that felt threatening. How's the boyfriend? The table went quiet. Everyone waited for my answer like it was a spectator sport. Fine, I managed. He's fine. Good, glad to hear it. The conversation resumed around us, but Alex kept catching my eye, kept smiling like we shared a secret. Which we did. The taste of whiskey and bad decisions. I need air, I announced, standing abruptly. I'll come with you, Alex said. No. But he was already up, following me to the restaurant's patio, away from my friend's prying eyes, but not from my guilt. This isn't a coincidence, I accused. No, he admitted easily. Cassie told me where you'd be. Why? Because I wanted to see you again. I blocked your number. I noticed. Seemed extreme for one kiss. One kiss. Like it was nothing. Like it hadn't been replaying in my mind for 2 weeks, competing with 6 years of loyalty. I love my boyfriend, I said firmly. Okay. I'm not interested in whatever this is. Okay? Stop saying okay like you don't believe me. He stepped closer, not touching, but close enough that I could smell his cologne, the same one from that night. I believe you love him, Alex said. I also believe you're bored out of your mind and too scared to admit it. You don't know me. I know you haven't mentioned his name once. It's always my boyfriend, like he's a title instead of a person. I know you came out here with me instead of going back to the table. I know you're wearing perfume you don't usually wear because there's still a tag sticking out from your sleeve. I yanked at the tag, mortified. When had I become so transparent? Your friends see it too, he continued. Why do you think they're pushing so hard? They want you to be happy. I am happy. You're comfortable. There's a difference. What do you want from me? The question came out more desperate than intended. Dinner, just the two of us. No friends, no pressure, just conversation. That's how affairs start. Only if you let them. The restaurant door opened, music and laughter spilling out. Jade peered around the corner. Everything okay? Perfect, Alex answered. Just getting some air. Back at the table, my friends watched us with knowing looks. The rest of dinner felt like a performance, everyone playing their parts. Alex was charming but respectful, never crossing lines in public. My friends giggled and encouraged. I pushed food around my plate and counted minutes until I could leave. This was fun, Cassie said as we waited for checks. We should do it again soon. Definitely, Alex agreed, pulling out his business card. In case anyone wants to get together while I'm in town. He handed it to Cassie, but his eyes were on me. A second card. A second chance to make the right choice. I didn't take it. But that night, lying next to Ryan while he scrolled through Reddit, I thought about Alex's words. Comfortable versus happy. Was there a difference? Did it matter? Hey, Ryan said, putting his phone down. You okay? You've been quiet since you got home. Just tired. Your friends wear you out sometimes. Yeah. He pulled me closer, kissed my temple. I know they think I'm boring. That we're boring. But I like our life. I like knowing you'll be here when I get home. Like our Sunday grocery runs and movie nights. Is that enough for you? The question hung between us, heavier than he knew. Of course, I lied. Good. Because I've been thinking, maybe we should take that next step. Move forward, you know? My heart stopped. What do you mean? Just, we've been together 6 years. Maybe it's time to start thinking about the future. Marriage, kids eventually, the whole thing. Marriage. To Ryan. Forever of Saturday video games and predictable dinners and love that felt like a comfortable sweater instead of a fire. Yeah, I heard myself say. Maybe. He smiled, satisfied, and went back to his phone. Crisis averted in his mind. Proposal planted, future secured. I excused myself to the bathroom and sat on the closed toilet lid, shaking. Marriage. He was thinking about marriage while I was thinking about another man. While my friends were probably group texting about tonight, about Alex, about when I was going to finally live a little. My phone buzzed. Cassie. He's only in town for 3 more days. Just saying. Then, Jade. You only live once, babe. Mia. Ryan will never know. Nicole. You deserve to feel wanted. Peer pressure in digital form. 4 women I'd called my best friends, pushing me toward a cliff and calling it flying. I found Alex's card in Cassie's Instagram story from dinner. She'd posted it with the caption, "New friends," and a winking emoji. His number was clearly visible. Before I could think better of it, I saved it. Not to use, just to have. Like keeping a loaded gun in the drawer and swearing you'll never fire it. 3 days. That's how long I lasted before texting him. "This is Stephanie." Just dinner, public place, one time. His response was immediate. "Tomorrow." 7 p.m., Chez Laurent, the fanciest restaurant in Austin, the kind with a dress code and wine lists thicker than novels, the kind Ryan would call pretentious. "I'll meet you there," I sent. "Looking forward to it." I told Ryan I had a work thing. He barely looked up from his game, just said, "Have fun," and went back to shooting zombies. The lie was so easy it scared me. Chez Laurent was everything Ryan wasn't. Sophisticated, elegant, the kind of place where they pulled out your chair and had different forks for each course. Alex was already there, looking like he belonged among the crystal and candlelight. "You came," he said, standing as I approached. "Just dinner," I reminded him. "Of course." But dinner was 3 hours of conversation that flowed easier than it had any right to. Alex told stories about traveling, about deals worth millions, about a life lived at full speed. He asked about my dreams, seemed genuinely interested when I admitted I'd wanted to be a photographer before settling for marketing. "Why didn't you pursue it?" he asked. Ryan thought it was too unstable. He was probably right. Was he? Or did you just let someone else make your choices? That's not fair. Relationships are about compromise. What has he compromised for you? I opened my mouth to list things, then realized I couldn't think of any. Ryan lived exactly the life he'd always wanted. I was the one who'd adjusted, adapted, made myself smaller to fit into his world. "This is dangerous," I said suddenly. "What is?" "This, you, making me question things I was sure about. Maybe they need questioning. Or maybe you're just telling me what I want to hear." "What do you want to hear, Stephanie?" That I was wasting my youth, that I deserved more, that the kiss in Dallas hadn't been a mistake but a wake-up call. All the things my friends had been saying, but from lips I'd already tasted. "I should go," I said instead. "You haven't even finished your wine." "If I stay, something will happen." "Only if you want it to." But I did want it to. That was the problem. Wanted to feel chosen instead of defaulted to. Wanted passion instead of partnership. Wanted wrong instead of right. "My friends think I'm wasting my life with Ryan," I admitted. "What do you think?" "I think I used to know." "Before Dallas, before you. I didn't create your doubts, Stephanie. I just revealed them." He was right. The doubts had been there, buried under routine and fear of change. My friends had sensed them, exploited them, pushed me toward this moment. But the doubts were mine. "One more glass of wine," I negotiated with myself as much as him. "Then I go home." 1 glass became 2. 2 became his hand on mine across the table. That became us in the parking lot, me pressed against my car while he kissed me like Ryan never had. Hungry, urgent, like I was water and he'd been dying of thirst. "Come back to my hotel," he whispered against my neck. "I can't." "You can? You're choosing not to." "Same thing." "No, it's not." But I was already in my car, driving away while my body screamed at me to turn around, to choose myself for once, to do what my friends had been pushing me toward all along. At home, Ryan was asleep on the couch, controller still in his hand. I covered him with a blanket and went to shower, trying to wash away Alex's cologne, his touch, the feeling of being desired. My phone lit up with texts from my friends. Somehow they already knew. Cassie: "Jade saw you at Chez Laurent." Mia: "Details now." Nicole: "Finally." "Was it amazing?" Jade: "You deserve this, babe." Deserve. Did I? Did anyone deserve to betray someone who loved them, even if that love had grown comfortable? Nothing happened, I typed back. Yet, Cassie responded. But it will. And when it does, we want every detail. They were so sure, so confident in my weakness. And why wouldn't they be? They'd been chipping away at my resistance for weeks, normalizing infidelity, making loyalty sound like stupidity. I thought about blocking them all, deleting their numbers and starting fresh. But they were my friends. My only friends, really. The ones who'd been there through college and first jobs and family drama. Just because they were pushing me toward destruction didn't mean they didn't care, right? Alex texted at midnight. Can't stop thinking about you. I deleted it. He texted again at 1 a.m. I'm here for 2 more days. Deleted. At 2 a.m. Your boyfriend's a fool if he doesn't see what he has. That one I kept. Screenshotted, actually. Evidence of being wanted by someone who didn't know my coffee order or my childhood trauma or the way I arranged the dishwasher. Someone who just saw me and wanted me anyway. The next day was Saturday, Ryan's gaming day. I woke to the sound of him setting up, the familiar rhythm of our weekend beginning. But it felt different now, empty, like going through the motions of a life I'd already outgrown. Morning, beautiful, he said when I wandered into the living room. Made you coffee. My favorite mug, my exact ratio of cream to sugar, 6 years of perfect coffee. Thanks, I managed. You okay? You were restless last night. Just a weird dream. About what? About another man's hands in my hair. About feeling alive instead of comfortable. About my friends being right that I was wasting my youth on predictability. Don't remember, I said. My phone buzzed. Alex again. Lunch? Who's that? Ryan asked, not really interested. Cassie, she wants to go shopping. Another lie. They were getting easier. Have fun. I'll be here. Of course he would. Same spot, same game, same Saturday as every other Saturday for the past 2 years. I texted Alex, can't do lunch. Dinner, then. Last chance, I leave tomorrow. Last chance. The words felt like a countdown, like my friends had orchestrated this whole thing to bring me to this moment of choice. Stay comfortable or choose chaos. Stay faithful or see what I'd been missing. I'll think about it, I sent. But I'd already decided. Had decided the moment I kept his text instead of deleting it. The moment I lied to Ryan about Cassie. The moment I compared his predictable love to Alex's dangerous attention. And found Ryan lacking. My friends had won. Peer pressure had won. My own weakness had won. I'm going out tonight, I told Ryan that afternoon. Again? That's like 3 times this week. Cassie's having a crisis. Wedding stuff. Want me to come? I could skip game night. No, I said too quickly. It's girl stuff. You'd be bored. Okay. Be safe. Love you. Yeah, you too. I spent 2 hours getting ready. The black dress from my closet's back corner, the one Ryan said was too much for anywhere we went. Heels that hurt but made my legs look endless. Makeup that transformed me from Ryan's girlfriend into someone who had affairs. My friends texted encouragement like they were coaching me through a marathon instead of toward destruction. Get it, girl. About time. Send pics. Use protection. That last one from Practical Jade, always thinking ahead, as if the physical consequences were what mattered, not the emotional demolition I was about to cause. Alex was waiting at the bar of his hotel, not even pretending this was about dinner anymore. You look incredible, he said. This is a mistake. Probably. Want a drink? Yes, I wanted several. Wanted to blame alcohol for what was about to happen instead of myself, my friends, the weeks of pressure and doubt they'd cultivated. But I ordered water. If I was going to destroy my relationship, I'd do it sober. We sat at the bar for exactly 1 drink's worth of time. Long enough for appearance's sake. Long enough for my last shred of resistance to dissolve under his attention, and my friends' voices in my head saying I deserved this, deserved passion, deserved more than Saturday video games and predictable love. Room 412, Alex said, signing the check. If you want to continue this conversation somewhere quieter. He left me at the bar. No pressure, just possibility. I sat there for 5 minutes, staring at my reflection in the mirror behind the bottles. Stephanie who? Ryan's girlfriend? Or just Stephanie, whoever that was. My phone buzzed, a photo from Cassie of her and the girls at some wine bar. Wish you were here? They knew where I was, knew what I was about to do. This was their way of saying they supported it, enabled it, encouraged it. Room 412 was exactly what I expected. King bed, city view, soft lighting, a stage set for infidelity. I shouldn't be here, I said when Alex opened the door. Yet here you are. My friends think. I don't care what your friends think. What do you think? I thought I was about to throw away 6 years for one night. Thought I was weak and selfish and everything I'd judged other women for being. Thought Ryan deserved better. But I kissed him anyway. What happened next doesn't need details. It was exactly what you'd expect. Urgent and wrong, and nothing like making love with someone who actually knew you. Alex was skilled but detached, performing attraction rather than feeling it. I was a conquest, a challenge, a story he'd tell friends over drinks. And I was using him too, to prove my friends right, to feel young and desired, to burn down the life that had started to feel like a cage. Afterward, lying in sheets that smelled like hotel laundry, the guilt hit like a physical blow. I need to go. Stay, Alex said, but he was already checking his phone. Or don't. Your choice. Choice. Like any of this had been a choice once my friends started their campaign. Once they'd convinced me that contentment was complacency, that loyalty was stupidity, that I deserved something I'd just proven I didn't. I dressed in the bathroom, unable to meet my own eyes in the mirror. My phone had 12 texts from my friends, all variations of how's it going? And get it, girl! And so proud of you for living. Living, is that what this was? The drive home was a blur of tears and self-hatred. I'd become someone I didn't recognize, someone who cheated because her friends made it sound reasonable, necessary even. Ryan was asleep when I got home, peaceful, trusting, unaware that I'd just detonated our life because I'd let other people convince me it wasn't enough. I stood in our bedroom doorway, watching him breathe. Tomorrow he'd wake up still believing in us, still thinking we had a future, still loving someone who just proved she didn't deserve it. My phone buzzed. Alex. Thanks for tonight. Good luck with everything. Good luck. Like I'd need it. Like this was just another life experience to check off the list. Then my friends, in our group chat, details tomorrow at brunch. So proud of you. Welcome to the club. The club, the cheaters club, the women who destroyed good things because they'd been convinced they deserved better things. The ones who mistook peer pressure for empowerment, boredom for oppression, temptation for destiny. I silenced my phone and crawled into bed beside Ryan. He stirred, pulled me closer out of habit. Love you, he mumbled, still mostly asleep. The words were a knife. Because I did love him. Had loved him through 6 years of video games and forgotten anniversaries and predictable everything. But I'd loved my friend's approval more, loved feeling young and desired more. Loved the idea of passion more than the reality of partnership. I'm sorry, I whispered, knowing he couldn't hear me. Knowing sorry wasn't enough. Knowing I'd have to tell him tomorrow or next week or whenever I found the courage to admit what I'd done. My friends would probably convince me not to. Would say what he didn't know wouldn't hurt him. Would rationalize my betrayal until it seemed like strength instead of weakness. But they were wrong. About all of it. The thrill wasn't worth the guilt. The passion wasn't worth the partnership. The validation wasn't worth the violation of trust. I'd learned that too late. After the peer pressure had already won. After I'd already become exactly what they'd pushed me to be. Another woman who threw away something real for something that meant nothing. Tomorrow I'd face the consequences. Tomorrow I'd have to decide whether to confess and lose everything, or live with the lie and lose myself. Tonight, I just lay there beside the man I'd betrayed, finally understanding that my friends had never wanted me to be happy. They'd wanted me to be like them, unfaithful, unfulfilled, and forever justifying our choices by tearing down the women who'd made better ones. I'd let them win. Let them pressure me into becoming someone I'd have to live with forever. I was the woman who had everything and threw it all away, just because my friends convinced her I deserved more.